Hello and welcome. So, I am going live today in my Facebook group, Archetypes and Alchemy, on my business page and also onto YouTube. So, wherever you are tuning in from, welcome. Please let me know what you think in the comments below, because I really am going to be talking about something that's very dear to my heart today. And this is an energetic tool which has really helped transform my life. So, if you find this beneficial and would like to share it to other people, I would love it if you were able to share this from my business page or share it from YouTube, because that will help support the algorithms and just support myself as a business. And I always want to hear what people think. So please don't hesitate to write something in the comments or message me privately. So today is a subject that I'm really passionate about because it is so ridiculously simple. But on the other side of things, you have to be very vigilant with your energy and your intentions while doing this. So it is what I call as an energetic tool that's an alchemy tool. And I use it for manifestation, for staying in my sovereign and asserting my boundaries energetically. So I am going to tell you a story of how this came in, and then also the warnings and stuff that come through it. You have to be in the right vibration when working with this. So last year I had a beautiful friend who started messaging me like really random, mundane kind of messages, and they went for quite a long time, and they had no purpose, they had no questions, they had nothing behind them. Hello, beautiful Kerry. So what would happen is I would get quite confused when I'm looking at these messages and I'm like, I don't have the time for this. Now, I just want to pause for a second and actually acknowledge that as a coach, and part of my coaching is having availability during someone's triggers to have my phone with me and listening to people's voice pops and just guiding them. So I do a lot of personal one-on-ones and a lot of, let's put it this way, I'm always on my phone. So when I started getting these messages, which were taking all this time, and I'm like, there's so many things that I could be doing right now, and there's no purpose behind this. And I'm talking, I'm not just talking, it's like a high. They would tell me, in minute detail about their shopping that they did for the day, or their actions. But there was no questions. There was nothing. It was like literally receiving their diary from the moment they woke up to the moment they went to bed. And I could feel, when you're having, you're being tested by the universe, or that there's something really unusual about this exchange. And I've done enough work upon myself with my child archetypes, so no, I don't go into my victim. So I'm really good with my boundaries, but this didn't feel normal. And I didn't want to hurt this other person's feelings. And when it comes to your child archetypes, there's certain child archetypes that absolutely hate confrontation, and they deal with them in different ways. So one of my ways of dealing with confrontation as a magical child is I want to procrastinate and put it off, or run away from it. So I could feel this desire building up in me to either ask what the hell's going on and get a bit righteous. And I'm like, no, that's your judge archetype. I'm going to calm down. And then I'm like, I'm going to have to say something. And I had this divine thought, this message pop into my head. And it was, why not do it energetically? You don't have to have the conversation. And I went, well, how would that even work? And I put my hand up in the stop position. And I simply said a prayer or an affirmation or a soul declaration is probably the better term. And I was lovingly in this space of like, I don't want to hurt this person's feelings, but I don't want to receive messages like this anymore. Now, I just want to say very clearly that this was not the normal for this person. They don't normally get a diary event of everything that's going on in their day. So I knew that there was a message and a meaning to this because of the sheer strangeness of the events. So I put my hand up and I said, I'm more than happy to receive messages where I can help listen to advice, listen to questions, give advice. I'd be happy to hear rants or triumphs. But I am no longer willing to receive messages that are just mundane and wasting my time, that have no purpose behind them. I'm so willing to be of service and help, but I'm not willing to listen to this. And I felt within me this solid certainty that I was asking from my sovereign self. I was honoring myself, but I also didn't want to hurt the other person's feelings. And it was all done in a really for the greater good and really lovely feeling behind it. Now, the funny thing is, you have to be really aware of the energetics of this. You might think, oh, putting your hand up in a stop sign is like so simple. But the more work you do upon yourself, the more powerful you become. And when you do a energetic tool, you have to be in your integrity. You have to be in your sovereign self. So I got complacent. And actually, in all honesty, I didn't even have any awareness that I had to be careful with this. I just went on and I would kind of merrily do this all the time. Hello, beautiful Dee Dee. I love you too. So what would happen is every single time I used this and I was in my sovereign, I was in my integrity, I got fabulous results. I even was able to use it for manifesting. About 2 months later, the same person returned to give me another fabulous lesson. And they left a very strange message, which had like a mistake in it about an event that was happening. And they got things wrong about it. And like it went for a long time and I was so confused. Now I had just woken up and I was a little bit grumpy. I was a little bit tired. And I'm listening to this message, which goes for like 10 minutes. And I'm so confused. So I was irritated, frustrated, annoyed. And I did this tool. And I said a very similar thing, but I was angry, frustrated. And that came through in the energetics. So I said, I am not willing to receive messages like this. I want the person to put more thought into their message. If they do something that's confusing, please help them delete it and start again. Like I was in my judge, the shadow judge. And the energetical ramifications of this was the most bizarre thing that's happened to me in a while. You would think doing something out of anger, no big deal. But it caused like a quantum strange entanglement. So for the same event, 4 other people who don't know this person, who have known me for a very long time, the event had been discussed about many times. It was so clear. Everything was normal. I did this out of anger. And then the other 4 people all come and said the same thing to me and were confused about the event's dates and apologized. And they said, I don't know how I got the date wrong, because I know we talked about this. That every single one of them said those exact words to me. And I realized the power of what we do energetically when we are angry. And when we are frustrated, we're having an argument with our partner or our kids or our neighbors. If I can cause this event over one simple thing, and I get to see the energetical proof, I was blown away. Now, it also made me think of the power of a gesture, and the power of movement, the power of ritual, and the power of alchemy. So by putting your hand up, it is a universal sign. It's an archetypal sign at this stage. It doesn't matter what country, what language, how old they are. If you do that, you know the other person is receiving stop, back away. Now, some of the things I've taught my clients to do and how you can use this is you put your hand up in this position when you're wanting to work with your saboteur and your alchemist. So one of my clients had a really big people pleaser. And what their pattern of behavior was, someone else would get triggered, someone else would react in a certain way. They verbalized it, verbalized their problem, their rant, their issue. And my client would go and immediately think to themselves, how can I fix it? Or what have I done? How can I smooth this out? How can I do this stuff? And I said to her, that's not your job. They're reacting badly to the situation. They've been triggered, and it's not your fault. They need to learn emotional intelligence. They need to learn how to control themselves. They need to, all the work that we've just done in the child victim modules where we own how we get offended, they need to do the same thing. Just because their child has gone into shadow doesn't mean that you have to respond and fix things for them and please them. So I said to her, put the hand up and say these words. That's yours and it's not mine. And it was the most powerful transformational tool. And as simple as that is, can you understand and see how it's an powerful reminder of just that pause, and it gives you that moment of just going, this is not mine. I don't have to fix this. You're the one that's reacting bad. You're the one that can't control yourself. You're the one that's angry. You're the one that's all these different things. That's your stuff. I've been working really hard here, making sure that I'm controlling myself, that I'm making sovereign choices, that I'm healing my wounds, that I am standing in my sovereign. Hello, gorgeouses. So do you see how you can use it to alchemize? And if you just use that one tool right then and just put your hand up, this is yours, it's not mine. It gives you the space to breathe in your sovereign and make choices and assert those boundaries. If you have somebody who is wigging out, stressing, talking and being an energy vampire, and they might be just focusing all about the negative things on their life and nothing on the positive, do you see how by just saying that, by putting your hand up and actually energetically saying it from your sovereign self, you can send not only a prayer towards them, but you are energetically saying, I'm not accepting it into my field. Meet the hand. Meet the barrier. So let's say we use the story, I'm just making one up on the spot. And you have a friend who is always ringing you when you're really, really busy and talks nothing about themselves. And you still want to remain friends and you still want to have the times, but you go, I can't have them ringing me all the time. So you can put your hand up. Now you have to remember to be very conscious of your energy and your thought forms. You need to be in your sovereign. You need to be doing it for yourself. You need to be saying it as a declaration of self-love. This is a boundary I'm exerting. You don't want to go into the judge. So you would put your hand up. Hello, beautiful. And you would say this. And they're off having a crazy time of it. And you put your hand up and you would say, I love my friend deeply, but I no longer can be having these really long phone calls. So I'm lovingly putting this boundary up. And I'm going to ask that she texts me first to see if I have time to chat. Or we meet up in person instead of having these really long phone calls. And for those of you who do energy work, you will probably feel it. I just felt Reiki heat on my hand then while saying that. So do you see how you can use it to assert these boundaries so that you don't have to have that conversation and hurt your friend? I have used this over and over and over. I've had clients use this and be really, really successful. There's also another element to this for manifestation. Or manifestation or your inner critic. That little voice that decides it wants to tell you all these things. You can't do that. You can't do this. So let's say you wanting to manifest something. Something that's going to trigger. Oh, money. Money always triggers people. So you're like, I want to manifest a new client. Or I want to manifest 10 grand. So when you put it out there that you're wanting to manifest something, interesting things happen behind the scenes energetically. You'll notice, and I'm sure every single one of you can understand this, you'll sometimes say things which are whimsical. Like, oh, I'd really like some soap. I'm running out and I need a really nice handmade soap. I really liked that one last month with the rose in it. So I want to get some rose soap. And you're just thinking away like this. You have no real attachments to it. So the universe brings it to you really quickly, and you will get given, or you will find some, or it's for $1 the very next time you go somewhere, and you magnetize it, and they manifest so easy. But when you're wanting to manifest something that you really, really want, that's making you a bit uncomfortable, is pushing your boundaries, like 10K or a new client, or money is a perfect example because there's so many stories tied up in money. So when you're wanting to manifest something like a new client or 10K, the inner critic, doubt, fears, self-worth, things like that will get tied up into it. You can use the same tool. I am worth this. I know that I'm worth this $10,000. I know that I'm worthy of a new client working with me. I am saying I love you to my ego. I'm saying I love you to my inner critic, but I'm not listening. I am opening up myself to be a magnet for abundance, for new clients. And this is what I want. And I don't accept anything else. Do you feel that? That's the power of alchemizing with intention and with such a most simple but basic thing. But you're setting an internal boundary, an energetical boundary for yourself, so that you avoid confrontation with your own beautiful mind. Does that make sense? Can't wait, phone gonna die, have to catch up or play when I get home. That's perfect, gorgeous. So this tool is one I use all the time. And when I'm with my clients, sometimes we come up with specific key alchemizing phrases and affirmations and work so that you can kind of hone in on the issue. But what you're basically doing with this process is you're saying, I love myself enough that I want to set this boundary for myself. And then you say your prayer and you do it. And you're in that sovereign healer priestessy energy. You're in that archetypes are in the solar steams. You're not reacting out of anger. You're not reacting from a place of frustration or negativity. You're reacting out of a place of love. You're reacting from a place of sovereignty. And there's been times when I couldn't avoid the conflict. The other person was too much in their stuff. But because I've been doing this, I breezed through the confrontation without any triggers. And I was able to say really loving things or the right things that actually diffuse the entire situation. So not only does it help you to energetically avoid it, if you can't avoid it, if it's too in your face, or you do have to, right, this hasn't worked to the full extent that I want to, It's, they might be working with you, living with you, and it's like there's too much energy blending, and I'm going to have to talk about this. By giving yourself this boundary and giving yourself the space to breathe, you come from a place of self-love and sovereignty. You're lover, you're sovereign. Now, remember when I talked about the ramifications of when I was angry. So I did this from anger and frustration, and I caused 4 different people to all mess up dates. And I just look at that and I just thought, well, if you take anger and frustration, irritation, blame, judgment, all those things into a confrontation, it just becomes so murky. Everything becomes confusing. Everything becomes like an entangled mess. Hello, beautiful Ursula and beautiful Janet. The other one says, hi, Jess, long time no see. I'm glad I woke up the night to see you. It just says Facebook user, so I'm not sure who that one is, gorgeous. But it's good to see you. So I really want you to practice this tool because, yes, you can work on the quantum realm and the quantum level and avoid a lot of confrontation. But this tool is incredibly powerful if you have to go into a confrontation because it will help you avoid the entanglement and the confusion. It's literally like you're putting up your barrier. This is clearly what I want. This is clearly my needs. I don't want to hurt the other person, but I must stand up for myself. The other person's doing this, please help them to see that. I'm not angry. I'm not frustrated. I'm going into this conversation in my sovereign and in my lover. Oh, hello, beautiful Melanie. It is so good to see you. It has been a while. So this tool can create the biggest changes, and you can play with it, and you can use it across all of the aspects that I have talked about. Your people pleaser, when it comes to manifestation, when it's coming to wanting to avoid confrontations. If you have to actually physically go into a confrontation, at least I'm going to do it and my energy is contained because I have put up my hand and I said, no, I'm not going to go into this and have a big fight. I want what's best for me and I want what's best for you, and we're going to be able to do this in an adult manner. And if you set those intentions, amazing. And there's a level of responsibility that needs to be taken, because I saw with my own eyes the ramifications if I go into anger and stuff. The more work you do upon yourself, the more spiritual you become, the more you climb your building, as Caroline Myss talks about, more you up level, the more powerful you become. You cannot believe that you are co-creating, manifesting queen, and then on the other hand, take no responsibility for manifesting bad things into your life or arguments or any of those other different stuff. This is the rent that we pay for being able to have these spiritual concepts. We must remain vigilant with our power, our thoughts, and most of all, our energy. Because we do have the power to completely attract to us things that we don't want to. So I gave you this technique. And now it's your turn to practice it and bring it in so that you hold and contain your energy to avoid confrontations. And if you look at it like you've got 2 batteries. And you've contained the energy of yours, and the other person can be raging and raging and raging. You get close, and there's going to be no electrical sparks. You've contained your energy. They can be going on all such and such. But here's the fascinating things with archetypes and alchemy. And my clients all can say this. When you shift into your sovereign and you authentically make decisions from your sovereign energy, miracle happens. People will completely change their personas. Situations will diffuse. I've had people who, once they stopped people pleasing and they were in their sovereign, their bosses changed. Their bosses responded to the sovereign energy without being aware of it, and stopped being aggressive, stopped being demanding, stopped wanting to do all different things. Like, it can be, the shifting and the changing can be incredible. And it's when you have these experiences that you realize the power that you hold and contain within you. We are incredibly energetic, powerful beings. We've got an incredible auric toroidal field moving around us at all stages. And we need to be aware of our energy field, our thought forms, our actions, because we have the power to create harmony, and we have the power to create disharmony. And this here tool that I have taught you right this moment, if you practice with it, I guarantee it can completely change things for you, because it's such a lovely declaration of your sovereign self and your lover. You love yourself enough that you're going to assert these boundaries. You're going to love yourself enough to be in your sovereign energy. You love yourself enough not to have these confrontations. You love yourself enough to see the other person for who they are, no matter what's going on them. You know, I have got to the place where I love my greatest villains in my life. Thank you for all the lessons that you brought me. I am such an incredible person now, and I wouldn't be the incredible person that I am without all of the friction, tears, hardships that you have brought into my life. I have survived you. And through my survival, I've learned. And through my learnings, I've grown. And through my growth, I have then become somebody who wants to deeply be of service to others and help them transform. And if I didn't have my arch nemesis, my villains, the people who caused angst and hardships, I would not be who I am to this day. Thank you for the lessons. I love you deeply. I forgive you for all of the trauma. And I look forward to growing for the rest of my life. So when you're doing this work and you're containing your energy, you don't worry about the other person so much, because you just present with yourself. This is what I truly want. And we're not trained to think like this, which is such a shame. If we did, oh my goodness. Do you know, it wasn't even until the last few years that I started to work with archetypes that I would actually stop and go, what do I really want? That is your sovereign archetype. What is it that I want? What do I truly want in this moment? I wasn't taught to ask questions like that. I was taught to maybe have a goal or a career or get in debt or look after this. I wasn't taught to authentically look within myself and go, what do you really want in this moment? So this tool will help you with that. It gives you the breathing space to really look. What do I want? I don't want to deal with this anymore. Put your hand up. You don't want to deal with it anymore. That's okay. It can be small things, it can be big things. It can be jobs, it can be relationships. It can be parents, it can be siblings. It can be financial woes. Are you in poverty lack? I will not be poor anymore. I refuse to accept this as part of my reality. And I'm calling to me abundance. And I'm calling to me opportunities. And I promise to listen to those opportunities. And I promise to take action. And every time the little voice comes up, the doubts, or your saboteur sends you off on some kind of wormhole, no, I see that. I'm not going to do that anymore. Stopping. I'm not a poor person. I accept abundance to me now. I magnetize money. I magnetize money in surplus. I'm worthy. I know that I'm worthy. I don't accept any thoughts and reject any thoughts that are different than that. It's so potent. It's so beautiful. And it takes time. It takes discipline. All alchemizing tools are. That's where people fall down. That's where people fail. How many times have I said this to you guys? I want to put it on a t-shirt. Failure is your best friend and the key ingredient to alchemizing. Because if you fail at something, it's giving you data. And you just try a different way. And you can reprogram your thought forms, and you can reprogram your patterns, and you can heal. One of my beautiful clients at the moment right now, she goes, the little whispering in my brain has stopped. You know, she always had that little whispering thought that would bring doubt. Can you believe how epic that is? To own your power. So I hope that this brings you lots of incredible insights. I really want to hear how you go if you use this. I cannot begin to tell you how many people I've known who have used this tool and have had incredible changes. I've had incredible changes within my life. Hello, beautiful seat. How are you? We're coming to the end of this beautiful teachings, so you'll have to watch the replay, my love. So this is going to be live on my YouTube and on my business page and within my group. So no matter where you've watched this from, please come and comment and let me know how you've gone. And if you found this valuable and you think it'd help other people, I'd love the support by you sharing it onto your wall or sharing it to somebody who you think needs to hear these words. In the comment description, in the writing below, I have put the link to a blog article. So I've originally wrote an article about this in a magazine, the Rebirth magazine, and then I've loaded it up onto my blog as well, so that I'm putting all my articles and blog ideas in the one spot. I've also got linked down below, I'm launching the next date for my next round of group coaching. I only do 2 rounds a year. So this one's going to be starting September the 26th. And there's a link in there. There's the prices, all the information. So I've been updating my website and I'm going to be putting my prices for everything. There's some more services and stuff that needs to go up. And been an interesting couple of months for me because, you know, you're taught by many, many different coaches to not put your prices and stuff up for coaching. Instead, let them book in and have a chat with you, see if they're aligned, and give them the price and everything then. And that's kind of been counterintuitive to how I actually like things because, you know, I get frustrated when I can't see the prices of stuff. I'm like, oh, I'm not going to book in for that. You know, it'll probably be $20,000. And it's really interesting how I forgot to listen to myself during this process of having an online business. So I am going to be just putting my prices up for absolutely everything. I think that's nicer for everybody. And that's also what I would like. So it comes down to personal integrity as well. So there'll be a few more things being done to the website. But if you're curious about my course, you've been watching me for a while, I absolutely love, oh, Kerry's got yes, like prices up front. Yes. So the beautiful Kerry and the beautiful Janet have both done my courses. It's so lovely to see my past clients here. I absolutely adore both of you. If you would like to know more, just check out that link. If you want to ask me any questions, go for it. I have thoroughly enjoyed giving you this energetic tool. I really, really, really want you to work with it because it's potent. It's incredible. It's changed my life. And, you know, don't forget, sometimes it takes work. If you have a deep core belief, if you have a sabotaging pattern that's been there for a long time, you are not going to click your fingers and it's going to be fixed. Some things happen rapidly, but I've never met a core pattern that's ingrained, you've been doing it for decades, that is healed instantaneously. Never. I've had people claim that they can heal those patterns instantaneously, and I've had healings and it didn't work. So this is the part of that I love about archetypes and alchemy is it is logical and it takes time, and there's layers to things as well, you know. And I have core patterns that I go through. One of my biggest ones is control. I love to control everything. If I ask Spirit for money, or if I ask Spirit for a new client, or if I ask Spirit for trying to think of something that I've asked for lately. It's a bit sad that nothing's popped into my head. You know, things will come up, and it's my job to do and work my way through it. And my beautiful controlling aspect of myself, say I wanted to ask Spirit for another client, I then go into, right, I've asked Spirit for a client. I'm going to need to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G before I'll get that client, because I need to do this ad, I need to do such and such, and I go into like all of this. It's perfect action, but it's not divine action. Spirit didn't tell me to do that. I've just gone into my practical, logical mind of, oh, I must do all of these things. Put the hand up. Okay. Spirit, I would love a new client. And I am going to stop and I'm going to listen. Can you please show me what I should do next? Please help me to have faith and trust that the new client is coming towards me. My new client is curious and wants to ask me some questions. My new client is going to know that I can help them. and you automatically see, and I can feel it. It's just so much more of a better energy than me trying to go logically, okay, I got to A, B, C, D, F, G. Because I'm not receiving, I'm not co-creating, I'm trying to control. So I've been working on that for a long time, and it heals in layers. I had a fabulous breakthrough with the supermoon, and I had a massive release, and I had a massive upgrade. You know, I felt like my light language got stronger. My manifesting got even more incredible. You guys know that I'm going to Peru. You should see some of the stuff I'm manifesting for that trip. Like it is, it's like I'm in the movie of The Matrix. I will have a question and I will receive an article or a phone conversation or a message that answers it. I was literally thinking to myself, and I didn't speak it out loud, so Google's not tracking me. I was thinking to myself, so when we're in La Paz, if we wanted to get back to Peru, for a cheap flight, where would we get like the buses? Like, I don't want to get ripped off. What do we do? I went within 5 minutes. I was on Google, and here's this. You know how Google has news things? Now, I would have triggered algorithms by Googling Peru, but I wouldn't have, I've never typed anything that specific. So in the Google Newses, there is this article about these cheap bus tours, guaranteed this price, the whole website and everything else like that. Answers right then and there. So my manifesting in the quantum aspects and different stuff like that has just been incredible since the supermoon. So when you're breaking these core energetical beliefs and new programs and different things, the universe rewards you. When you up level, you absolutely transform your life. You go into the quantum spaces. Oh, thank you, Kerry. You're beautiful. Well, I'm going to leave you with all those juicy thoughts. I want you to play with this. Please comment, and if you feel aligned, please share. It's been so lovely seeing all of you. I absolutely adored all of the comments, and I will check regularly to see if I have any comments on YouTube or my business page. Much love.